Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Dashing with Flash. A couple things here I wanted to discuss really quickly. Today's Sunday. Weather's not too awesome. We got some rain there. And you know, inclement weather usually brings profitability. So, something I wanted to touch on in terms of the importance of multi-apping. Now, I respect the hustle for a lot of people that use primarily one app. Now, I respect the hustle, I respect the grind, I respect their commitment to their brand in general. For myself, I don't buy into just doing one app. I can't do it. When I started when I started food delivery specifically, I really just did Grubhub. Now, again, it was my first time really getting accustomed to food delivery, how it works, the ins and outs, and I just used one app. Also, at the time, I was waiting to get on Doordash. They had been taking a long time processing my application, my background check, all that stuff. I was in the process of signing up with Uber Eats, but I didn't really, use it. And I was already on Postmates and I had done like one order, but we know how I feel about Postmates. Now, I did just Grubhub, and I learned a lot doing just one app and what to do and what not to do, and then started doing a lot of research. So now I multi-app, I do Grubhub, whoever's got a good bonus, you jump on there. If there's any bonuses, any peak pays, you don't chase it, but if it happens to match up with the time of day that you're out and the goal that you have and the approach that you have for that day, by all means, go for it. Now, the problem with focusing on one app is that you're pigeonholing yourself into a corner. A lot of people, I've seen people that do one app and have a difficult time breaching $25 an hour, or they're maybe close to $20 an hour, and they don't. I've even heard people say that without certain, peaks and bonuses, that sustaining even $25 an hour is not feasible. I got news for you, that is incorrect. Of course, depending on your market. If you're in a small market, it's going to be tough. It's going to be tough. If it's slow, there aren't a lot of restaurants in your market, I get it. Well, secondly, all the more reason that you one of the people specifically that should be multi-apping. But for the sake of sake, I'll throw a screenshot up here somewhere, right? Here's good, right? I'll throw a screenshot up here that for part of my shift, or most of the shift that I had the other night where I was doing Grubhub. Not primarily, I was multi-apping, but I was focusing on Grubhub because they had a nice batch bonus running. Now, granted, keep in mind that this screenshot for these orders doesn't include any bonuses. It's just that you do a certain amount of orders, and the way Grubhub works at bonuses is that you get the bonus the following week when you get your pay, when you get paid, if you let it, if you don't cash out. But they process the bonuses as they would normal pay, so you don't get it until the Wednesday or the Thursday the following week. If you look at these orders, this is paying, and this is something I'll get into in a later video when I break down the apps about who's the best, quote unquote, but which of course really depends on your market and what the research that you've done on which apps are the best in your market. But Grubhub had, it was really doing well for me that night. Now, if I was just a driver that it's like, oh, I only do DoorDash. All right, well, look at all this money you're missing out on. Sure, I focused on Grubhub that night, but I was doing DoorDash. I have paid from DoorDash that night. I was on Uber Eats. I didn't take any Uber Eats orders because they weren't very good. Plus, the other orders were better. Especially the Grubhub orders. You saw it. I just I can't co-sign with I only do DoorDash. Or I only do Uber Eats. Or heck, I only do Grubhub. Because there are times where Grubhub slows down. Sure, of course. If you're not on, the schedule, a block or whatever, you might get less orders than somebody on block. Again, I'll get into that more in detail later. But I can't do it. I don't recommend it. I recommend using one app to start with and going from there. Once you get comfortable, then you figure out another app. And you're okay, I know how this app works. Then, once you figure a few of these apps out, bam, you should be multi-apping every time you're out. Unless there is one huge exception to that, and that's if you're doing one of the quest bonus on Uber Eats. Unless you're doing a quest bonus on Uber Eats, a big batch bonus, that's the only time you should just be. I'm doing Uber Eats. I'm taking every single order I can get so I can hit this big bonus. In my opinion, that's the only time you should be pigeonholing yourself into one app. There's no reason to do it. Multi-app. Have them all running at one time. And for all transparency, as somebody that suffers with ADD, even I can handle all three of them running at one particular time. It's not difficult only because there isn't much pressure to just decline. You just decline. If you take an order that you get one that's good, you're like, great. You either turn the others off right away. If you're doing DoorDash, you don't even gotta end the dash. Just pause it. Pause your dash. Keep going with the other app. Uber Eats, you might have to shut it off. And I'll get into why Uber Eats is problematic when you're doing other multi-apping. But again, don't put yourself in a corner, in my opinion. Again, to each his own. Everybody can do as they please. Everybody has a different goal in mind. Some people have a brand they want to upkeep. Fine, that's fair. But for me, multi-app. I'm on Uber Eats every time I'm gonna go out today. I'm gonna turn on Uber Eats. I'm gonna turn on Grubhub. I'm gonna turn on DoorDash. Again, Grubhub still got bonuses going this weekend, so I'm gonna focus on Grubhub. But something comes up, the other two, they got something good. Oh, great! I'm gonna take that. and I'm gonna go with it and work my night appropriately. Do what's best for you, but my personal opinion, you should always be multi-apping when you go out. Don't just do one. Do them all. That's it. That's all I got for you. You guys have a great rest of your weekend or day or whatever, whenever you're watching this. Make sure, as I always say, that you be profitable. Super important. It's the number one thing that I stress here. Be profitable. Y'all have a great night.